So she's a woman of vision with strong business acumen, thirsty for success in her own initiative. She squared up to the challenges and insecurity of the Nigerian business terrain. She has successfully combined her duty as a wife and mother with being a businesswoman. Welcome with us again, the former First Lady of Oyo State, Florence Ajimobi.
Thank you. Good to have you.
You know, I would love to go into your background because I read your book and I just couldn't drop it. It was just so interesting to know how you say you're a love child and your background in Ibadan and how you met your husband, your first job, friend. You know, you actually had a very interesting life, I would say.
Almost
you know, you see somebody pretty, you think that there are lots of ups and downs. I don't think you had that. You actually had a very good background.
I did.
So tell us about growing up, meeting your husband, and the whole works.
Growing up was an amazing thing. You know, when you're a love child, when you're with your dad, gives you the best, you're with your mom, she just wants to make it. So there was the kind of competition between both of them. And like I said in my book, I didn't meet my dad until I was 6 years old. Yeah, I met him when I was 6 years old. And, you know, ever since then, he was all over me, trying to make me happy. But I was still living with my stepdad. But he was an amazing father to me, so I didn't have any cause to want to go to my dad or spend more time with him. Growing up was beautiful. I went to the best school, Bodija International School. Ibadan was the best school then. We were being driven to school in a Mercedes-Benz, you know, the old one.
You're big.
So what else can I ask for?
That was so
And I had a house help to myself. Even though my mom was young, she had me at 16.
Wow.
16 years.
Okay, I read the book as well, and I just find it interesting the way you started off the story where you said, I'm a love child. So in my mind, I was thinking, does she mean she was the last born after so many children? And then sitting down, when you talk about it, a lot of people it's something they normally hide. It's something that maybe society would have frowned upon at the time that it happened. Did you get any form of that from society? Did anybody ever tell you, well, your father and your mother were not married?
I didn't give them any reason to do that to me. I mean, coming from a love family shouldn't be a disadvantage to me. I used it to my own advantage, and it made me know where I was going to. You know, I was determined my own marriage must work. I knew right from day one, and I knew I want to go into marriage very early, make it work, because the urge to make it work was burning in me, and that's it.
For me, what you define as love is what other people define as the youthful exuberance of my parents resulted in me. So I realized that the way you couched it to make it look like it's not a bad thing, but society sees it as a bad thing. Was it defined for you like that? Was it that your parents told you you happened as a result of love, or you gave yourself that title?
I gave it to myself, because I mean, if they didn't love each other, they won't have me. He didn't rape her. They had an affair, and what led to the affair was a relationship, and they felt they were in love. And that was it.
Now, you grew up as a Catholic, and you ended up marrying a Muslim. And he was a Muslim, obviously, from a polygamous family. He was the first of 23 children.
Yes.
Now, how does a Catholic girl get into polygamous? Because today, in Nigeria today, there's always that issue of religion. It's from the north and the south. Did that come up when this conversation started?
No, it never did. It never did. My husband is my best friend. He was my best friend, he's still my best friend. So when you have a relationship with a man, religion does not come in. And the most important thing, I know he's a Muslim and I respect him, he's the head of the home. I don't flaunt my religion. I don't flaunt it. When people are around, you know, I don't let them know I'm coming from church. I have to respect him, because the moment you start flaunting your religion in the presence of people, they you know, term it as a weakness on the man's part. He can't control his wife. You know, the Yoruba will still be on your lesson. You know, so if I start and I come in and then I say, I'm going to church, I'm coming from church. Why do I want to do that? So there's an understanding between the two of us.
So how was it for you raising your kids, knowing
that they are Christians?
Oh, they all decided to follow.
My husband knew he didn't have time to teach them Islam, so he allowed me. But now my son has changed. So I don't force religion on them. You see, for me, religion is a thing of the mind. Whether I'm a Christian or a Muslim, it doesn't make you the best person.
Okay. I wanted to also ask, you are an advocate for equal opportunities for women. You always want women to be at the front burner, treated equally. So would you call that feminism? Because we've had this topic where certain people who talk about women, they are seen as they are feminists.
No, I'm not. I don't think it's feminism. I believe that if I have everything it takes to get the same opportunity as a man. Give me a fair chance. But I'm not going to rub shoulders. I still believe that my husband is the head of my home.
Background.
Finish. And that's why I have peace. I've been married to this same guy for 39 years.
Wow.
And if there's reincarnation, I will marry him again.
For real?
Yeah. For real. For real.
That's good. There's this question that we stereotypically ask every woman. How do you balance being a mother and your job? Things that we would never ask a man because the job of this parenting is that of a woman. But genuinely, women make sacrifices on their own self in order to protect and preserve their family. How was that journey for you? Because as young women, we struggle with, I want to hustle and become everything I want to be, while we know we have children that need our attention at home. How did you go through that journey when you were younger?
There's a time for everything in life. If you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, you have yourself to blame. There's a time to devote absolute time for your children. I mean, when we got married in 1980, and I worked from 1980 to 1984. When I had my third child in 1984, there was no way I could continue working. So I had to make that decision that I'm going to manage. It's not easy when you work for 4 years and you have your own money, you know. So I just had to make that decision.
Great job,
and it's a decision that has made me so happy and fulfilled. Because if I had left those children to one house girl, there was no way you could employ 2 house girls. Then I had only 1 house girl looking after 3 children.
She wouldn't have coped either. You know, when I was reading your book, and you know, the theme just got to me. You had an easy life. I mean, based on the book. As you said, you were taken to school in a Mercedes-Benz, you had your own help, you had gifts from your dad when you wanted. You know, life was just really easy. And most people, when they write books, they tend to write it from a place of maybe pain, and you're trying to tell a story. So I'm wondering, so with the beauty, because you also talked about your looks and the male attention you got, so I'm like, is there a story that we may need to hear now from a different perspective, where when life seems rosy, when things seem easy for you, is there a lesson from that?
It's a lesson of determination. Like I said, I am a love child. And, you know, right from 6 years, the first time I met my dad, I made up my mind that I'm going to get married. And I'm not, because I asked my mom so many questions. Okay, so if he didn't want to marry, why didn't you wait? You know, I've sat her down and asked that question. You should have waited. Maybe after 10 years he would change his mind. But she said, no, she can't wait. She was 16 too, and she felt hot. You know, so she had to move on. But, you know, I believe that your circumstances of birth should not be a disadvantage to you. It should be like a motivation for you to determine whatever you want to be in life. So and that is what I did.
So for you,
life like a rainbow is, I'm a child with so many parts.
You chose to make it beautiful.
There are days that I miss my dad, you know, because when friends, you know, they taunt you in school. I'm very light, and, you know, a black man comes as my father.
So for me, reading your book and listening to you now, I would say that the story is that you decided to make your story beautiful.
Okay, let me take this call. I have to wait holding for a while. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Morning, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to talk about the first topic.
Go ahead. It's your view.
Most time when you are a child, and my name is Kevin, not Kelvin.
Kevin, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. As a child, if you've been told that this person is not your dad, before you know it, you start reacting funny towards that person. I grew up to the age of 6 knowing one woman as my mom. When she left and another woman came in, and she made me realize that woman wasn't my mom, everything about me changed. So in the situation, that man, even though it's good you tell the child, but once you tell those children, they start behaving differently, unconsciously, towards the man who has been taking care of them.
All right.
And
Thank you very much, Kevin. All right, talking about modeling, because I know that in your book you also said something about the Esho family were like your model, that you wanted your family to be like that. They were your own model of what a family should look like. I grew up also, I had a family, but I'm from a polygamous family. But my neighbor, Mr. Adeshoko, they were Christians. They had the nuclear family. They were always together. And they were my own model. Like, I wanted my family to be like that. In your view, a lot of people today say, because of my background, I can't have this. Oh, I come from a broken home. I have this, I have that. What would you advise? How do people begin to start creating models for themselves to know how to make their lives better? Because today, people always give excuses for why they have broken homes, broken marriages, broken children. There are excuses all over. So I'd like you to share some advice.
That's the whole essence of writing that book. A child from a broken home, or a child from a marriage that never existed. Been married for 39 years. I don't believe, and I keep saying it, your circumstances of birth or growing up should not determine your way of life. You should be what you want to be. Make a choice. I mean, if my mother is an illiterate, does that make me want to be an illiterate? If my father is not educated, must I choose not to be educated? I should be a better dad, a better mom, Let
me bring you to being the first lady. And we know, in the our political men get this attention from women. Power is attractive. Once you come into power, even women that would they would be wholly around you, will suddenly find you attractive. How did you deal with the female attention your husband would have gotten as a politician?
Even my gatesman, that is gatesman to Senator Florence Ajimobi, when the moment he started working, he got attention from women. So, my man is my man.
How do you deal with it? Do you just ignore it?
No, I just ignore.
You don't?
Because I know he's not going any... Never. Never. Why do you want to know? What you don't know doesn't hurt you.
Really?
He's my friend. Even some things I don't know, he will tell me. Please. And I will not hold it against him.
That's interesting.
That is friendship. It's different from love. I keep telling young girls, friendship is different from love. My husband is my friend. He's not just my lover, he's my friend.
Your paddy.
I can't do without him.
Right.
So I know that you had so much growing up. And when you meet people sometimes who have that much growing up, there's this chip on their shoulder. They haven't suffered. They haven't seen life the rugged way, like most people are hustling. And so they carry themselves in a certain way. But you have been able to impact your society so much. I know that you have an orphanage in Ibadan. And you were able to use what you have to try as much as possible to help people who are less privileged. How did you get to that point where you didn't look down on others around you, but decided to use your influence and affluence to help?
They just didn't look down on me. They're my role model. They never looked down on me. They never thought, because there was a time my mom traveled out of Nigeria with her husband for almost 6 years, and I was left in their care. And they never looked down on me. So, they gave me a platform to see life differently. They gave me a platform to want to, because they really impacted into my life. They treated me as if I was their third child. They have only 2 children. I mean, I was in the boarding house, but eventually they moved me into their home. Wow. I was living in their home.
I want to ask concerning raising your parenting. And, most people, when we have our kids, there are 2 sides. I don't want my child to suffer what I suffered in this world. So we tend to want to, overcompensate our children. And there's a case of, don't use washing machine, wash with your hands. And I don't agree with that. I feel like, let your child enjoy modernization. Where do you stand concerning those style of parenting? And how do you advise young mothers now to raise their children?
I think we should expose them to both sides. When my kids were growing up, my first 2 kids, Bisola and Bimbola, on Saturdays and Sundays, the cook doesn't come. Okay. Bisola cooks on Saturdays. She makes moi in the morning for legusi for lunch. Dinner is nothing. Bimbola on Sundays makes yam, egg and corned beef stew, and in the afternoon she makes jollof rice. And we had a cook, but you have to teach them. What if they get married to somebody that can't afford a cook? What will happen? So, and then every night they must soak their underwears and wash it in the morning. We had this small washing machine USC was selling them, Tomboy or whatever they call it. It was there we could throw, because that's why I throw the diapers of the children, nappies to work. But I make them use their hands. Right. So we should expose our children to both sides. I mean, if...
In the political circle, were you exposed to people who tried to take advantage of you, even not in the political circle, in life, in career? People say you're yellow, you're pretty, attractive, you're working at inside communication.
Don't forget, I'm a very tough woman. My background made me tough.
So people don't.
So before a man would make advances at you, you must have given him one. But by the time somebody is looking at me and I go, what's your problem? He doesn't. I don't need to say a word. They back off.
People actually. I need to dwell on that.
Please dwell on it.
Because some people make it look as if you can't control these things. What you're saying now is that a woman can actually control.
Of course, please.
Because people say,
yes.
People come, it's not my fault. Men are all over me. It's not easy. Because yes, you might not do anything, but you just feel as if there's so much pressure on you that these men are coming to you.
I don't believe in that.
So you feel that a woman has the power to stop it.
No, yeah, of course you do. Of course, you have absolute power to stop a man, let them know where to stop. You can say hello to me, but by the time I don't know you, and you say, hello, Mrs. Ajimobi, how are you? For what? Hello is hello, I move on.
And you had this from when you were young, because in your book you said when you met your husband, he told you to shoo, and you're like, what?
Yeah, because I already had an opinion that my father used my mom, so I'm always ready.
That's helped.
I'm always ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, you made a decision to stay home, when you started having more children. So a lot of people now would say things are not as easy as they used to be. I cannot leave this well-paying job. And we always have these conversations where we're saying maybe a husband who is not earning as much should stay home while the woman works. What are your thoughts on things, arrangements like that?
I don't believe in that. When I stopped work, it wasn't even easy, because my husband and I put the money together. I was working as a secretary and I was earning more money then. Anyway, secretaries, they get more money, tips and everything. But if I had held on to making that money, it would have affected my children. So I believe that it's a sacrifice, even if I don't make anything again. Whatever my husband is able to. And that was how I started my business, because I wasn't working again. And it was not easy for my husband to put everything on the table for the family. So I started selling.
Talking about your husband, he was a very controversial governor. Controversy left, right, and center. The IFLS story.
I won't use that word.
Constituted authority.
Misunderstood.
Okay, so he was misunderstood. Constitutional authority, IFLA issue, the fact that he didn't get this political support he needed to come back, he wanted to get back into the Senate and all that. As a wife of somebody who is politically misunderstood. How did you manage that support system during that period?
When somebody is your friend, you're always there for them. And I just look at people, this is somebody that has been misunderstood or misconstrued. He won election in 2003, was the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In 2007, he contested as governor. He won, but they didn't give it to him. In 2011, he won. In 2015, he won again. It has never happened in the history. So what are the controversies?